Hey guys, it's Jody. So I've been watching people's videos lately in their eBay sheds, their work sheds, whatever. And I watched a Commonwealth picker today, and he did a little tour around his shed. And I was like, you know what? I keep saying I'm going to do mine, and I haven't done it, and I haven't done it. So today is about as clean as it gets. I mean, it's a workspace, it looks kind of messy. And for some reason, when you see it on camera, it looks way worse than it looks in person. So but it's not too bad right now. It's not too bad. So let's take a look around. Okay, so I have my computer workstation here. I usually have up on the TV. This is not like a second monitor, it's a regular TV, but I use my Chromecast and I'm usually watching other resellers' videos while I'm working, just so I can hear bolos or information or see what they're doing to help my business. So that's a Bolo Buddies video that I was just watching there. And then this is a small space. This is 8 by 14. My shed is 8 by 14. And it's that small because the property that we live on is rented, and so if we need to move, I need to take my shed with me, which means it has to fit on a truck. So if it's 8 feet wide, you don't have to get special permits. If it's 14 feet long, it can fit on a trailer without extra length permits and stuff. So that's why it's 8 by 14. So that's a small space. So I had to make the best use that I can, and I'm not yet. I mean, things can be maximized much more than they are, but this is what you get here. Now I have a loft up here, which I do have storage. You can kind of see there's some boxes and stuff like that up there, and I like to use every little nook and cranny, as you'll see. Now this shelf I just got, it replaced. If you've seen some of my old videos, I had a black shelf here and I had like a dresser on top. So this replaced that black shelf. That black shelf could hold 4 of my banker's boxes and then some little extra stuff. Now this one holds 5 banker's boxes, and then some of that extra stuff is up there on top. And then I also got this shelf as well. Isn't that a cute shelf? And then I put all the stuff that was in those dresser drawers in these 4 photo boxes here. They are a little smaller than the drawers, but it works. And then I have some other miscellaneous books and stuff on there. And then on top here, I just have, some of my things to make things cutesy in here, some cutesy office supplies and just fun stuff. And then over here we have this, I bought this craft shelf. I actually bought it in an estate sale, but on the box for it, it said you could hold scrapbook paper in the bottom, which I have a lot of scrapbook paper and I thought it would be perfect for that, but it doesn't hold scrapbook paper. It's 11 inches. It's not 12 inches. And scrapbook paper is 12 inches. So, yeah, it doesn't hold that. Also, it's the brand that comes from Michael's. Now, like I said, I got it from an estate sale, and I only paid $10 for it. If I would have paid a penny more than that, I would have been upset. All of the drawers have fallen apart and had to be, you can see these 2 bottom ones are screwed back together. This one fell apart. I glued it all. It's fallen apart again, so I'm going to have to take it apart again and screw everything in. The drawers, even though it's long, and this is not a complaint video about this dresser, but basically saying it works, it's sort of functional, but I need to replace it. See how long it is, but the drawers only are this deep. So there's all that open space at the back for no apparent reason. The reason that I did like this was because it has this little thing on the side that can flip out. And then I have a bigger space to work to do my shipping and stuff, but I never use it for that. So this is sitting here now, and we'll see. I just changed this all around. I just have one of these little desk things. It has papers and stuff. I love this fudgesicle sign that I have down here. And this is files and stuff, my receipts for my taxes and all that. Get in there, stay in there. I usually have this up at Halloween, but then I like it so much that I just leave it up all year round. And I have little displays in my windows because as much as this is a utilitarian space, it has to be a cute space too, right? I mean, it has to be cute. All right, so let's go to this shelf over here. Now, this shelf is interesting because when I first started in the shed, I just had kind of a plastic shelf over here. And I searched and I searched and I searched for just the right dimensions to fit in the shelf, because it comes just to the edge of the window here. And then it goes just behind the windowsill here. It was very specific dimensions that I had to make it fit in. So I found just the right one. Thank goodness, because that works a lot better than one of those ugly big plastic shelves. And I use these banker boxes. They're regular, basically banker's boxes. They're pretty durable. I've been using these for probably let's see, maybe 4 years, 3 or 4 years, and most of them are still in really good shape. It's when stuff gets real heavy inside of them and then you're taking them in and out a lot that they kind of start looking a little not great, like this one. But I did not buy these in these pastel colors. I painted them. I did a video, but I never edited it and put it together, so I might still do that at some point. But I did paint these. You can get them in colors. These actually were red, yellow, green, and blue sets that I bought at Walmart, and they had them for $10 for 8. And I think you can still get those same ones, so they are a little bit colorful if you want that. But I think they're a little bit more expensive now, maybe $15. But that's still pretty good for 8, especially since these, like I said, I've been using these for years, and I go in and out of them almost every day, most of them, and they still look nice. And so let me tell you about my boxes and my labels. So I made all of these labels, so I can always go back and make a new label if the box changes. Some of the labels, like this one, I just made blank so that I can change what's in that box. I have a few boxes that kind of change the contents all the time. Sometimes I have a ton of Barbie stuff, and so I fill that box with that. Sometimes I have a ton of something else, and so it ends up in that box, and the Barbie stuff goes elsewhere, or I sell through it or whatever. But I do have, like most of us, certain things that I kind of gravitate to, that I pick up. So this one is like linens, hats, and media, kids and baby, which is mostly clothes there, Disney stuff, Muppets, boys. As you can tell from my shed and from my channel, there's not a whole lot of boy stuff, so that's my boys box. Now, every boy thing doesn't necessarily fit in that box, but the smaller things, anything that's in like a bigger box, like this, like the Barbies, these get put in between here. I have things stashed under my desk. I have things stashed up in the loft. Before I had like a whole stack over here. So it kind of depends on the size. So the boxes are mostly for the smaller things. But there's 80s girls, so that's a lot of miscellaneous, what might be paper items, that is probably the box that has the most items in it. There are probably 200 listings of items in that one box, because paper stuff, you know, ephemera, is so small that it's really easy to deal with. And then down here I have a box that just says miscellaneous, that has miscellaneous in it. Maybe a mug or, you know, whatever. But I tend to gravitate to the same type of things. But like I said, I make the labels, and so I can change the labels at any time. And I do. And I like this one, I actually moved. This box was getting too full, so I moved the hats here. So I just wrote on there. And then, like I said, I use the space between everything. Space above. I like to get shelves that have a little space above. You know, it could have looked for something that went all the way up, but that adds a whole nother shelf there, right? So I've got all kinds of stuff up there. I've got all kinds of stuff kind of crammed in here. Even next to here, I've got a folding chair in case someone wants to come in and visit me while I'm working. But I have stuff, not too much right now because I've been selling through some of my bigger items, which is nice. I love that. But usually I'll have stuff piled there too. And then like this shelf is nice and wide, so it's got stuff between each of the boxes. And then of course this is a lot of bigger paper items. Most of this stuff needs to be listed too. A lot of it is not listed. Look at this cool Trapper Keeper folder I found the other day. That is listed. So that's kind of my inventory stuff. And I like doing it this way instead of having box A, B, etc., etc. I like doing the themed boxes because I can say, okay, I'm getting way too much of yada yada yada. I have so many linens right now that's all that fits in this box. So then I have to determine, you know, it kind of forces me to go, should I keep buying linens? How many vintage sheets are selling? Not that many. Maybe I need to hold back on that. And I can tell because every time I go in that box, I'm looking at the same things over and over, you know, or for instance, hats, or, you know, peanuts and holiday. Like, am I selling a lot of Snoopy stuff? Because I have historically sold a lot of Snoopy stuff, but lately I really haven't. So then it kind of forces me every time I go into one of these boxes to sort of do a mental inventory and decide whether I need to buy more of these things, or should I look into lowering the prices to get rid of some of the stuff that's been there for a while. So for me, it helps me out in that way. And then this cart here ended up being, I have a lot of plush right now. So it ended up getting crammed full of plush. Which that plush is probably going to end up in that box, and those things are probably going to end up moved. I do move things sometimes, but I try not to have to do it very often. I really don't. I have this little display over here that I use for pins and stuff I have for sale, and for my personal collection, like these Pac-Man ones I like. Okay, so we kind of looked at my inventory, and I have, you know, stuff around. See, this whole side, not that I don't have stuff for sale on the side, I do, but this is more of like my collection and art supplies and crafting and stuff like that. And some of this will eventually become more space for sales things. I really need to do that, but as I get more items. But right now my eBay store has about 800 items. I've got about 100 on Etsy over a couple of stores. I store my boxes down here. Now I do have storage in my garage for boxes as well, so I don't keep too many boxes in there. This is my washi tape and duct tape and craft supplies. And then these are all, this whole container here is all duct or washi tape. So this would probably be useful for little things that are selling, but it's for tape right now. I do have a drawer here that I keep. I don't know if you do this, but I use a lot of plastic bags. So they're all here. Bread bags for putting clothes in, and bags for sorting things. And then I also keep some cardboard flats in here, envelopes that I use, just all kinds of stuff is in my drawer there. You can see my garbage and recycling cans are kind of full right now. Now this area over here that looks like the junk shop part of this whole situation is actually stuff that's waiting to get shipped. I'm not going to call it a death pile per se, because I am working on it and working through it. But this is when I first bring stuff in from garage sales or whatever, it's usually in bags and it goes right against this corner. And this is where I'm working through bags and stuff as they come in. And then these boxes I do also use, like I have stickers in there and stationery stuff there. I've got postcards here. So yeah, I'm just working on trying to always kind of reorganize and cram things in here. But I do try and focus on smaller items, because I know a lot of people will do bigger items, and that's great if you have the place to store them. I just don't. And so sometimes I can put some things in the garage, but I try to keep most of my stuff in here, and that means focusing on smaller items. And you know, the paper stuff is great, but the little toys and all that stuff is great. But like I said, I have probably about 1,000 items listed right now. So if you have a really small space, you probably want to focus on smaller items. If you got a small space, you're not going to want to get big electronics. You know, you're not going to want to get, I don't know, big stuff, because it takes up a lot of space. Anyway, so this is what I'm dealing with. This is how I work. This desk is where I do everything. You can see I was working on taking photos right here, so I just use a whiteboard from the Dollar Tree. I cut it halfway through in the back so it makes a fold, and I use that to take my photos. When I'm ready to ship, I usually, I always have this space here open so I can pull a box out and put it down, empty the stuff out, and it'll sit here or on the desk. And then I make sure and like clear off the keyboard and everything. So I do all my shipping right here on my desk too. So again, it's hard when I have big things because I don't really have a big space to work in as far as shipping goes. But yeah, so just working in a tiny space, trying to keep it neat, trying to keep stuff fitting in here, and trying to keep it cute. It's the name of the game, right? Trying to keep it cute. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Also, please follow me over on Instagram, because that is where I am putting notifications up of my videos. And I will See you next time. Bye.